What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dark Game Channel. I'm AJ Gels. Guys, how's it going? I know this video's going up a little late. Few reasons for that. One, I don't know why my internet's running kind of slow. So getting videos up yesterday, I think I was able to get 2 up through the entire day. Oh wait, no, I did 3 yesterday. Never mind. And I've been uploading a video since I got up around 6 this morning. It's currently like noon, and it's still not up. So, no, I'm just annoyed with myself that I couldn't get this up yesterday. But later tonight, I will be doing my Game Award kind of see if my predictions were right video. I still haven't seen it at this time. Kind of there are reasons for that. I had some stuff going on yesterday. It always happened the year before too, that I ended up having to catch a recording after that. I couldn't watch it live. And also this show's going up early just because PSX is this weekend, so the schedule's a little weird. Recording's getting a little weird, I'm playing that, and then Final Fantasy 15's throwing a wrench into into everything. That game, honestly, I'm gonna say game's awesome. Much better than I thought. I mean, I'd still stick around an 8. I'd agree with IGN's 8 too. But yeah, it's really fun, really addictive if you're into like Witcher style RPGs, because it's very much in that vein with this kind of open world, with these characters. It's a really interesting game, and it's kind of like a mashup, like The Witcher, like in the world, and going about completing quests is very Witchery, but then there's some other RPG kind of stuff thrown in. Really good game. I would highly recommend it. But I have a few stories for you guys this week, and I'll just hop right into it. This article comes by way of IGN from Jonathan Dornbush. Nintendo Switch private hands-on event to take place on January 13th. Just once, I want to not talk about the Switch. God, because again, I have nothing new to add other than because we're not getting any new information, and all I can keep saying is I don't think it's going to do well. Alright, the article reads, Nintendo has issued invitations to a private hands-on event in January for its upcoming Switch console. The press-only event will be held on January 13th, 2017 in New York, following the already announced Nintendo Switch presentation on January 12th. IGN has been invited and will have coverage straight from the event in January. The invitation explains that the event is intended to, and I quote, further emphasize some of the details that Nintendo plans to announce the prior evening during its Nintendo Switch presentation in Tokyo. No additional details about what will be shown for the Switch at the event were included in the invitation, but the January 12th presentation, which is being held in Tokyo for media analysts and trade partners, is set to include information about the system's release date, price, and the lineup of games currently in development for the Switch. The console is currently planned for a release sometime in March 2017. Okay, then the article continues on, just, going on about what we already know about the Switch. And again, I have nothing new to add to this story, again, other than just, I still think just what they are doing right now with this, we're gonna release the Switch, but we're not gonna say anything new about the Switch until January, then release it in March. It just seems like a really, really dumb decision on in my opinion. All right, next article. This one also by way of IGN, written by Alicia Judge, article entitled Investigation Clears No Man's Sky of Using Misleading Promotional Materials. Also, every article I talk about will be timestamped in the description below, as well as a link to the article. So, there you go. Alright, the article reads, the UK's Advertisement Standards Authority, ASA, has officially dismissed claims that No Man's Sky misled players on its Steam page and in its promotional materials. In a meaty statement published on the ASA website, the regulatory body stated that no further action is required in investigating accusations that Hello Games misrepresented the scrolling space simulator before its release to public. Referring directly to the trailer, blurb, and screenshot available on the game's Steam page, the ASA wrote, and I quote, "We understand that the screenshots and the video in the ad had been created using game footage and acknowledge that in doing this, the advertisers would aim to show the product in the best light. Taking into account the above points, we considered that the overall impression of the ad was consistent with gameplay and the footage provided, both in terms of, it's going back and forth every week. Like, one week I can read, one week I can't. Both in terms of that captured by Hello Games and by third parties, and that it did not exaggerate the expected player experience of the game. We therefore concluded that the ad did not breach the code." According to the regular body's report, 23 complainants contacted them with the belief that No Man's Sky game content, and I quote, "was not as depicted or described in the trailers and screenshots that were available on the Steam page." There's still some more. I'm gonna do some commentary, some my own personal shit here. I still stand by it. I don't get the love of No Man's Sky. I think that game gets a lot more credit than I think it even deserved, but it's not a game for me though. I'm a guy. I don't like Minecraft. I don't like Rust. I don't like I don't like these kind of games. So it's not a game for me, but for anybody out there who's enjoying it, good on you. But I don't. What was I was listening to? P.S. I Love You XOXO. I think it was this. Yeah, it was this week's show. They talked about this kind of exclusively, and I agree with Colin Moriarty that I don't get why this game was so loved by the media, why it was hyped up so much. And that kind of led it to where it kind of ended up, that it was kind of a flash in the pan. Like it was really popular, and then it came out, and I think then people like me kind of went, "Oh, this isn't for us," and just went nowhere with it. So overall, I think this is dangerous, and I think this puts, and I also agree with Moriarty that I think this puts Hello Games kind of in a precarious position. So I'm going to continue on with the article. However, the crux of the game's defense focuses on the fact that No Man's Sky is procedurally generated because each player's experience is determined by a random computer algorithm. The ASA ruled that the adverts would naturally show a different reality to the ones that the players will encounter in the game. Since the marketing emphasis this procedurally generated element, the ASA concluded that these No Man's Sky's ads were marked as potential experiences that players could have rather than a direct projection of environments and creatures found in the game. And I quote, "Hello Games did not exaggerate the expected player experience of the game," reads the report. "We therefore concluded that the ad did not breach the code." I think we already read that earlier. Whatever. The article has a link to the ruling and provides explanation for other issues raised by disgruntled players, including claims that the full game looked visually different in the ads, the warp speed through the galaxy was inaccurately represented, and that Hello Games was misleading in its suggestion that players could engage in battles over territories. Meanwhile, after keeping a low profile for several weeks, Hello Games has whipped the cloak off a new update. Okay, so talking about the new patch that just went up. Again, I'm kind of on both sides of this. I don't think that they misled people, but I don't think that they were entirely forthcoming with their advertisements, because I remember some of those ads, they looked a lot better than that game actually was. So, It's one of those that I agree. I feel a little gypped, but at the same time, I don't think they did anything illegal. So, all right. Next article: Forza Horizon 3 Blizzard Mountain expansion release date announced. Article on IGN by Jordan Serrani. Forza Horizon 3 Blizzard Mountain expansion will be released December 13th. Microsoft announced today. Teased earlier in the month, the winter-themed expansion takes players to a snow-covered mountain and challenges them to compete in 50 new campaign challenges and events. Blizzard Mountain Also introduces 3 new race types: Hill Climb, Descent, and Blizzard, and 8 new vehicles, including the 2016 Ford, I can't pronounce that, 9 Focus, RX, Jesus Christ, I'm not a car guy, the 2016 Nissan Titan Warrior concept, and a mystery barn vehicle, according to Xbox Wire. The expansion, which also includes 28 new achievements, will be free for expansion pass owners and discounted by $10 for those who own Forza Horizon 3 Ultimate Edition. For more, okay. Another game I really don't have much to add to, mostly because I don't play Forza. I'm more of a, when it comes to racing games, I'm kind of a Need for Speed. Like, I like that street racing aspect, not the, which I kind of, from what I understand, Forza Horizon is kind of like that, but it's just, I still like there to be some sort of narrative in there, not just race. I don't know. I'm weird. Alright, moving on. Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare, PlayStation Now release date announced. That's a weird title if not read correctly. Article also on IGN by Jonathan Dornbush. Article reads, Red Dead Redemption and the standalone expansion Undead Nightmare will both become available for PlayStation Now subscribers on December 6th, Rockstar Games announced today. The article was from the 30th of November. So, Rockstar previously revealed that the original Red Dead Redemption would be hitting PS Now as part of the company's partnership with Sony in the lead-up to the launch of Red Dead Redemption 2. This effectively acts as the first time the original Red Dead Redemption is available to play on PC, and as PS Now functionality on PC became available earlier this year. Red Dead Redemption 2 was announced earlier. Okay, stuff about that. PlayStation Now and PC. Okay. So, again, another story that's there's not really a lot to comment on. Really, a lot of these, there's not a lot to comment on this week. There's only a few more. I don't know. Personally, though, I feel like the original Red Dead Redemption does not hold up as well as I thought it would be. Like, I tried playing it not too long ago, and it just didn't feel right to me. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I just need to try it again, and maybe I'm, just losing my mind. Either way, next article. Former DICE Ubisoft devs announce Games of Glory. Article by Vince Ingenito on IGN. The article reads, Lightbulb Crew, a small developer made up in part of former DICE and Ubisoft employees, has announced Games of Glory, a top-down multiplayer team shooter for PlayStation 4 and PC. The small French-based studio provided some early details in a press release Wednesday morning. Players will be able to choose between 15 characters across 5 general character classes, each with different skills, as you might imagine. You'll also get around 50 guns and melee weapons to choose between to boot. Battles will be either 3v3 or 5v5. Games of Glory will be free to play next year and will support crossplay between PS4 and Steam users. With minor details on that, this, I think the pricing on this is right, because it's kind of what it sounds like. It sounds like a free-to-play game. It sounds like it would. I'm not saying this will be Rocket League, but I think this will be that kind of. Well, I'm not gonna make that comparison technically, because there are more differences, but no, I think a game like this could exist. I mean, they kind of interested me. I mean, this sounds sort of League of Legends, sort of Overwatch, but on a smaller scale and the top-down thing is interesting. So again, not much to add to this, but who knows? Might be interesting. All right, time to talk about a game that I love talking to people about, because they hate me for it. Assassin's Creed 3 is the final free Ubisoft game. I will stand up and defend Assassin's Creed 3. Not great, but not the worst Assassin's Creed game. As I've said many times, that belongs to Revelations. Yes, I think Unity beat Revelations. Well, yeah, Unity beat Revelations. Article by Eric Von Allen of IGN. The article reads, Ubisoft will be closing out its 30th anniversary game giveaway for PC players with the American Revolution era Assassin's Creed 3. The game publisher has been celebrating its 30th by giving away a new game title from its backlog each month for PC users, or for PC players, and it will cap the celebration off with the final game in the Desmond continuity. That's weird. I would have just said trilogy. Well, it's not trilogy. Yeah, whatever. Available starting December 7th, you can grab a free copy of free PC copy of Assassin's Creed 3, provided you're an Ubisoft Club member. The offer will last for 30 days, which means the previous month's title, Far Cry Blood Dragon, is still available to those who haven't signed up yet. And then an explanation of Assassin's Creed 3. I think that's... I think that game is definitely worth picking up and playing if you haven't yet. Again, I stand by it. I think 3 is very much looked down on. I think 3 was necessary because I think it really heavily set up what was great about 4. There were aspects of 3 that I wish they would have gone more with and less of other stuff. But I really do think 3 had something that people just kind of ignore. But I do really like Assassin's Creed 3. I put it in the middle tier of AC games. So definitely worth the try if you haven't played it. Now, on to probably the longest article I have here. But also, personally, I think the most interesting. I've kind of skimmed through this one just because it's really kind of long. This one's from GameSpot by Mike Mahardy. Resident Evil 7 hands-on with 4 hours of horror and survival. So we have a article on a hands-on time with Resident Evil 7. Let's dive in, shall we? Much has been made about Resident Evil 7's new direction. Developer Capcom released 2 demos for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard since its reveal at E3 in June, and both show a clear step away from the action movie tropes present in most recent series entries. The sequel also eschews the traditional third-person perspective for first-person, and in doing so has drawn comparisons to story-driven horror titles such as Outlast and Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Oh, really? They're getting... Oh, okay. Well, I already lost me a little bit because I like I'm a third-person... I like third-person shooters over first-person, personally. You know, it's one thing that I like Resident Evil 4. Like, I like having that character that I can see. I don't know. But I understand it's first-person. I'm gonna say not because they're trying to draw those comparisons. I think they're just trying to make it make sense with VR. Yeah. Moving on, but after spending 4 hours with Resident Evil 7 during a recent trip to Capcom Japan, one thing is clear: this is a survival horror game in every sense of the phrase, with inventory management, item scavenging, and a constant sense of dread. In fact, based on my time with it, Resident Evil 7 so closely adheres to the tenets of the franchise early entries that I can best describe it as the original Resident Evil set in first person. My demo began in a mansion laced with hidden passages and ancillary... God, I hate that word. Corridors. I don't know why I hate that word. Before opening up onto the rest of a decrepit plantation in the American South. I searched for keys to specific doors, solved myriad riddles, crossed the manor grounds, and memorized shortcuts back to a few previous save rooms, all the while evading the deranged members of the cannibalistic and, I suspect, incestuous Baker family. Okay. So wait, are we getting rid of zombies and going with cannibals now? Is that... none of this is to say there's a lack of action this time around. It's here. It's just a more measured type of action. My demo demanded that I scavenge every inch of the plantation, saving up ammo and health packs, so that the eventual encounter with an enemy followed a mounting sense of dread. Resident Evil 7 earns its tension. Okay, so again, this sounds like they're going back to... I'm going to say Resident Evil 4, even though, yes, I know there were the 3 before that people have said were even better. My first foray into Resident Evil was 4, which I really loved 4. Still have it on PS2. Great game. But it really does sound more old school. I'm gonna be really interested to see, like, because they're talking about a family. I'm like, well, how many members of this family are gonna be traveling around this plantation? So I don't know. What? This could be this. The only thing that they're losing me on right now is the whole first-person mode as opposed to third, but so far I'm on board. There's also a delicate balance to strike with inventory management. Chem fluids can be combined with several different items for different results. Paired with gunpowder, they'll create ammunition. Mixed with the series' pervasive green herbs, however, they'll create first aid fluid. This presented decisions to agonize over health or ammo. I take ammo. Personally, it made me weigh my current predicament, and I was almost always in a predicament and think 3 steps ahead. I think the key I need is in the basement. I have chem fluids and I'm low on ammo, but all I have is my handgun, and based on my first few encounters with those weird shape-shifting monsters down there, my handgun won't suffice. There's a shotgun in that room down the hall, but I have no idea how to get it yet. I'll use the chem fluids for health. That should be enough of a buffer to survive a few hits from those things. That was, I think, he kind of ran through a process of what he was going through. And again, I think that's what makes this sound so interesting. Although, I mean, it also sounds like this is going to be more scavenging based as opposed to what RE4 did with the having that weird guy who you bought weapons from. But no, I mean, so far I'm super sold right now. I'm sorry again. I know I'm talking about me a lot. I'm sorry. Let's see here. Cut to a few minutes later, I found the key in a labyrinth of damp passages, evaded the enemies, and emerged from the cellar after a brief chase that felt like it lasted an hour. I'm reminded of a phobia from my childhood when I imagined monsters pursuing me up the basement stairs. These emotions and the kind of thought process pervaded my time with Resident Evil 7, and although the puzzle and survival aspects reminded me more of the first Resident Evil, there are influences from elsewhere in the series' history. Members of the Baker family, the presiding clan at the Decaying Manor, became boss encounters during my demo. I won't spoil the specifics of the 2 fights, but they were both preceded by sequences straight out of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, in which a singular monster stalked you through the game. The Baker family was almost always slowly pursuing me throughout my time with the upcoming sequel, instilling a definite urgency and removing any sense of security I might otherwise have had. Lethal hide-and-seek games became bookends to brief chapters of calm. When I did have a moment to breathe, I was engrossed in the game's storytelling. Resident Evil 7 functions as a frame story in which a variety of shooter sections are nestled within the larger narrative. The short stories take the form of playable flashbacks accessed by VHS tapes scattered around the plantation grounds. I'm sorry making that clicking noise when I start speaking again. Let's see here. The flashbacks serve mainly to flesh out the game world, but also played host to an impressive narrative technique. I often found a clue in one of the flashbacks that aided me in the present-day timeline. Furthermore, the 2 timelines actually foreshadowed events in the other. I'm reminded of the first time I saw the horrific flood enemies in Halo through a video recording, only to realize I was standing in the same exact room once the cutscene ended. I also found diary entries and handwritten letters scattered throughout the plantation that hinted at things to come. The estate's greenhouse, for instance, mentioned briefly in one of the baker's notes, would later become the scene for one of the more horrific things I saw. Another note mentioned a beached boat on down by the swamp's edge. I didn't see any such boat during the demo, but I suspect we may when the game finally releases in January. Resident Evil 7, based on my time with it, already feels bolder and more confident than recent franchise installments. It feels content to let the level design and atmosphere drive the pacing forward. There were no quick-time events during my demo, and explosions were few and far between. I can't speak to the quality of the entire game, but as someone who has been waiting for the series to find its way back to its horror roots for years, I'm excited. It feels as if Capcom might finally remember what made the series great to begin with, and finally knows how to mine that legacy without using it as a crutch. There we go. That is that article. Honestly, I'm excited for the game. I'm still a little questionative as whether or not I'm sitting here being cynical, going, I'm gonna guess it's probably gonna get delayed. I doubt it's gonna be January, but if it hits January, good for them. But the game looks sweet. Sounds really cool. Sounds really old school. Like that is what I've been wanting. I still say Resident Evil 5 was more like the older games than the new ones, but it didn't scratch that itch that 4 did. It was more actiony than what 4 was, kind of horror-y. It was a lot slow. 4 was slower. And again, I know I have a limited knowledge of this franchise. Being that I've played 4 and 5, I skipped 6. I've watched people play 6, but I have no interest. But there's the news, or news for, I'm not going to say week, but for this time. Like I said, come back later today for my post Game Awards show. Also, early next week for my post PSX wrap up, and then back on Saturday for this show next week. Sorry. Other than that, guys, there's just a variety of other content going on this channel. Let's Plays, this show, reviews over on my website, tons of other stuff. If you want to stay up to date, I'm sorry, on on everything that's going on in this channel, please remember, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, my website, down in the description below. It'll keep you up to date. Facebook and Twitter will keep you up to date on everything, and my website is where reviews and general stuff about the channel is posted. Other than that, please remember to like, comment, and if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm AJ Gels. This is the Untitled Gaming Channel. I'm out.